Alright, hey guys, welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name's Curtis, and today I'll be giving you my initial first impression review of Encens Suave by Materie Premiere. So if you're curious to hear my thoughts and opinions on that fragrance, then let's go. So I have my sample here of Encens Suave, and one thing that I know about this fragrance is that it is quite heavy on the incense. And I would say for me, like in the past, I was never a huge fan of incense. It always kind of just reminded me of like church. But you know, deeper into my journey, I really developed an appreciation for incense. So I'm curious to see how this fragrance kind of plays out on my skin, especially. We'll see if this is a yay or nay. So I'm gonna put this on my hand here. Let's see. 2 sprays. Okay, so straight off the bat, I'm getting incense for sure. It's a bit sweet. There are definitely some like ambery vanillic tones here, but that incense is quite prominent. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, this is, you know, I think with incense too, one thing is incense can come off quite, quite cold. And I think for me, in my past experience too, if it was mainly just incense dominant and there weren't kind of ambery or vanillic tones there to warm up that incense, then I kind of stayed away from those fragrances. But I feel like with this one, it's a very nice balance there of you have that kind of cold incense and then you have that ambery vanillic tones in here that really kind of help to balance that incense out. Yeah, this is really, really nice. And I think, like for me, this kind of reminds me a little bit, just off this initial first impression, this kind of reminds me a little bit of Vanagloria from Laboratorio Olfativo. I have that fragrance. You know, they're definitely not the same by any means, but it's kind of pushing in that direction a little bit. And if you're not familiar with Vanagloria by Laboratorio Olfativo, basically that's a fragrance that was perfumed by Dominique Ropion, and then he also perfumed Baby Cat. So if mentioning Baby Cat kind of helps to put your mind on kind of where this is going, then yeah, but they're not the same by any means, but it just kind of made me think of that. They're both kind of incensey vanillic fragrances. This also kind of has like a coffee-like vibe to it. I'm picking up a bit of coffee. But yeah, this is settling really, really nicely. Let me give this fragrance about an hour or so to dry down, and then I'll come back and let you know how this fragrance has developed on my skin. All right, guys, so it's been a little over an hour. I've let this fragrance settle and dry down on my skin. So let me give you my thoughts on this. So first of all, I think that the smokiness and there's a woodiness that's kind of come out of here, and that's really helped to kind of smooth out those sweeter vanillic tones, and it's really provided an extremely nice balance to this fragrance. Yeah, I'm actually really, really enjoying this fragrance. You know, I'll say that in terms of its performance so far, you know, like I said, it's been a little bit over an hour. This is pushing off quite heavily. So I would say projection is really good for the time that I've worn it so far. It's hard for me to speak on longevity. I need to test this fragrance out, you know, a bit more. But I would say for this initial, you know, hour and so minutes, this fragrance is pushing out quite heavily. So I would say in terms of projection, it's quite strong. Now, is this a wearable incense fragrance? Now, this is all very subjective. So, you know, it's gonna be your own personal taste. I would say for me, absolutely, yes, it is. Is it like a unique incense fragrance? I would say there's definitely something about it that's quite unique. Now, would it be redundant for me to have this fragrance in my collection? maybe, I mean, like I said before, I have Vanagloria. So it kind of goes down like a similar path. So, you know, I do really enjoy this fragrance, but I'm not sure if it's full bottle worthy for me or not. You know, I think I need to test this one a little bit more, you know, maybe with further testing, wearing it a bit longer on the skin, it may even develop a bit more. So we'll have to wait and see. But I do really like this fragrance. But yeah, it's a very smooth composition, in my opinion. You can tell that the quality and ingredients that were used here are just top notch. And I think from the brand Materie Premiere, they do a phenomenal job of sourcing high quality ingredients, and Encens Suave is definitely no exception. This is a very well done, well made fragrance, in my opinion. I would say in terms of versatility with this one, like, again, please take this with a grain of salt. It's all just my opinion. I feel like for me and in my climate and environment that I live in, I feel like for me, this is more of a fall and winter fragrance, but that might vary from where you live in the world. I feel like this would fit perfectly for me in the fall and winter. I think like in the summer here in Japan, it's just too humid and heavy, and this fragrance might come off a bit cloying, given the sweetness that it has. And in the spring, I just kind of don't really associate like incense style fragrances with spring. Incense kind of fits more into that fall and winter time frame for me personally. But you know, to each his own. You know, wear what you want when you want. You know, there are no rules to this at all. Would I recommend this fragrance to someone? Yes, absolutely I would. You know, if you're someone who is, you know, curious to get into the note of incense, and if you like kind of like sweeter, ambery, vanillic fragrances, I would say yeah, absolutely. One thing I really enjoy about this fragrance too is that coffee note that you really get in the opening of this. I think that really helps to give it a bit of uniqueness, and it adds a bit more depth and character to this one. Yeah, so overall, I would say my rating for Encens Suave is an 8.5 out of 10. I do really enjoy this fragrance, and yeah, I'm looking forward to testing this one a bit more in the future. All right, you guys, so that's all I have for you for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content. And are you familiar with Encens Suave by Materie Premiere? If you are, let me know your thoughts and opinions about this fragrance in the comments section. I'd love to hear them. All right, well, I hope you guys are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next video.